March of the Machine previews have begun. Now, I had done a full video actually recorded and ready to go, but I'm realizing that a lot of the cards I had talked about were actually leaks instead of actual previews. So instead of trampling on other people's previews and stuff like that, I'm coming back around and I'm going to actually just do some short videos discussing some of my favorite cards I've seen so far. So today we're going to talk about two cards to be exact. Now, these are Phyrexian flip creatures is what I like to call them. They start out as their regular form, and then once a condition is paid for or met, you flip them over into a Phyrexian variation. The first of these is Itali. Now, he was mentioned in the story here recently, and he is now given his card form in Commander and Historic Brawl. This is going to actually be a Gruul Commander because his flip side is actually green, and his activated ability also has green in it. So let's take a look. This is Itali, the Primal Conqueror, for 5 and 2 red. You get a trampling 7/7 that says when it enters the battlefield, each player exiles cards from the top of their library until they hit a non-land card. You can cast any number of spells from among the permanents exiled this way. Or actually, it's not even permanents, it's just cards. And without paying their mana costs. And it has a transform cost of 9 and a green Phyrexian mana to transform and only activate as a sorcery. So you can actually do a couple different things here. You can, just go for the transform side of this card, or you can kind of mess around with the steal your opponent's spells and free cast stuff off the top of your deck by either blanking this in and out of the game or recasts and other things like that. So there's some fun things to be had with this card. Now let's take a look at the flip side here. This is where I'm talking about where it's kind of a throwback to some older cards. The other side of this is Itali Primal Sickness, a Phyrexian Elder Dinosaur, an 11/11 with Trample and Indestructible. Sound kind of familiar? Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, they get that many poison counters. Say hello to your new Blightsteel Colossus. This is what they've done. They have basically brought Blightsteel back, but instead it's color locked to a Gruul deck rather than, any color you want to stick it into. So you get an 11/11 that's indestructible, so you have to exile this thing, because if it hits, you're probably dead. And it's just going to take over a game. Now, granted, it takes 10 mana to transform it, and on top of that, you actually have to pay the 7 mana to even get it onto the board in the first place. But being that we're going to be in green as well as red, that should not be a huge deal to overcome, and you should be able to ramp into this pretty easily. And I do plan on making a deck around this at some point. The other card that they've done a throwback kind of thing to here is Phyrexian Reborn. For green, we get a 4/5 Hydra with Reach, and it has a white Phyrexian cost in it, so it's a green-white card. For 6 and a Phyrexian white, transform it, only activate as a sorcery. So on the back side of this here is Phyrexian Engine of Ruin. It's a 6/6 Phyrexian Hydra with Reach and Lifelink that says whenever it or another non-token Hydra you control dies, create a 3/3 green-white Phyrexian Hydra with Reach and a 3/3 green-white Phyrexian Hydra with Lifelink, and it's a 6/6. So this is a throwback to Wormcoil Engine, but it's, again, like with the other card, it's color locked to green-white decks of whatever varying degree if you want to use it as the commander or if you want to have it in the 99 somewhere. Those two colors have to be present. But I do love that they're going back and they're kind of making analogs to these old Phyrexian cards that are very popular. Blightsteel Colossus and Wormcoil Engine are very popular cards in commander circles, and I love that they're bringing these kind of things back. So I have some plans to do some stuff with it. Green-white's great with making extra tokens and stuff like that. And I also like that Phyrexian here can actually be a Hydra commander that's not Zexara the Exemplary. So we have access to, the green Hydras. And I don't know if there's any other white Hydras. I can't remember. I don't think there are. But in that case, it doesn't matter. We still have some new options to us. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to be talking about more cards as the week goes on, and we will see you in the next video.